Namaste. Today we have Abhinav and Tanushri over here at the Native, and we are going to have a nice chat with them and let us see what they have to share with us. Both of them are co founders at Labask, and they have done their master's degrees in international relations. Probably they would have been at the desk talking about the world, but then here they are at Labask whipping creams and stealing hearts. I'm sure they have a lot to share, and today we are going to just find out what has been their support system, what has led them to this particular journey, and let us see and dive deep into what's baking. Okay, welcome both of you.
Thank you.
How do you feel coming here?
This is our first podcast, so we feel really, excited, psyched about it, and we are really grateful for you guys for inviting us today. So,
I was going to say we're feeling nervous. But yes, that too.
Good. So before we start, I think both of you are co-founders. So it would be the best to introduce each other. How about that? Yeah. Tanushri, can you go first?
Sure. So this is my co-founder Abhinav. So we started Labask just like barely one and a half years ago, not even that long, right? We met during our master's degree. He was my batchmate. He was my batchmate, and we were friends. Like we became friends during the masters. I used to make cakes, etc. And
Away
suddenly,
from home.
yeah, away from home. Like it was like a home away from home. He really liked it. So suddenly one day after getting our degree, he brings it up. Why are you doing this? Like, why are you really interested in IR? I was like, maybe. And it was his idea to like start something baking related, which is so strange because he was a UPSC aspirant. And yeah, that's how this whole journey began. So yeah, thanks to him, we are here doing a podcast today about this business.
Can you tell me more about Tanushri?
so she's Tanushri, she's my friend, she's the co-founder and the chef at Labask. So, as she rightly pointed out, we met in masters, and every weekend all of the friends were used to be at my place, and she used to whip up, amazing desserts over there. Sometimes the mousse, sometimes cakes. So, one day she brought a basque, and it was so amazing. I hadn't had something like that like ever. So I think from there the idea spawned, and I saw the potential in her, and I was like, why don't you start something of your own? Is IR really for you? Really? I mean, so yeah, conversations happened. Then I was preparing for UPSC. I gave a couple of attempts like during my masters and after my master as well, and I think everything aligned, and here we are today. So yeah, cheers to us.
That's nice, interesting. Tanushri, I would want to ask you about your schooling, educational background. How is it at home? At home, how is it, and like what kind of support have you got?
So to begin with, I have always been interested in baking. Um, so when I was in school, I used to go to Balmohan Vidya Mandir, and it was always in front of my house. Like I was located right in front of the school, and my mom used to bake, and she used to take baking classes. Most people attending the classes were my batchmates and some kids from school. I was just like inclined towards it, and I always wanted to be a pastry chef. Like, I wanted to be a pastry chef. It was like ingrained in my head that this is what I want to do. Did not go that way in the beginning. Then I did my arts, and then after that, I did bachelor's in mass media and specialized in advertising. So at that point, I felt, is this what my life is going to look like? Like, do I have to sit in a cubicle and make, I don't know, brand strategies or something like that for other brands? Like, where I have no control over anything, over my life. I did a 1 month internship at an ad agency, and it was very underwhelming. I was not stimulated at all. It did not motivate me. I think just one day into that internship, I was like, I don't want to do this. I can't believe I have chosen like mass media and I do not like it. But in that process, I also learned filmmaking. I did a course for about 3 to 4 months. It was not long enough. I think it was 6 months. And I think it was one of the best things I did during my BMM course. I did like a bunch of, like a lot of research on marketing, advertising. I also did theater in that time. I also did filmmaking, as I mentioned. And I felt like I don't know what I want to do with life.
You have tried so many things.
Yeah, so I tried a lot of things and I chose BMM because it had a bunch of subjects. I thought that later on I will choose one
of
thing
it.
and I'll take it ahead. BMM ended in 3 years. I was still clueless. Then COVID happened and then I started learning French. I decided that I'm going to learn French and I'm going to go to France for pastry school. And this was when COVID happened, 2020. Everything was shut down and I could not go to France to learn. And I was so upset. It was very, very like, it was such a difficult time in life. And then my mom said, you know what, just do your master's in one of the things you found interesting. And at that point, I was like, okay, maybe I found political science interesting just to study it. Again, I did not think of it in a long term perspective that I might want to pursue it as a profession. Then suddenly, I guess some 6 months down the line, I did BMM I did the third year of BMM online and then 1 year of masters in international relations online. After which, around 7 months, I was in Pune, Symbiosis, for my international studies. Again, clueless. It was not something I wanted to pursue as a profession, and I think I knew somewhere. And every time I used to just feel like this sinking feeling that I'm not able to do what I want,
This
and I
is
might
not
just
me.
end up doing research and I don't know, like writing a thesis. I was good at it, okay? I was very good at IR, but just because you are good at something doesn't mean that you might be truly interested or passionate about it. So, one outlet for me to kind of just find myself was baking for my friends.
Okay.
And every weekend, I used to go back home, or if I was in Pune, I used to bake for my friends. That's how IR kind of indirectly helped me to get back to my passion. And then, of course, Abhinav brought it up like, you know, why don't we do something about this? And that's how Lubask, the ideation of Lubask started. One more thing I used to keep telling my mom all the time, like, you know, I've done arts, I've done BMM, I've done IR. What use did it come to? And I always used to kind of look back at it and just maybe whine that, oh my God, did it not work out? That was pointless few years of my life. But then when we started Lubask, suddenly all the skills I had developed from those courses, they just came in use and like in the most unexpected times, yeah, in very different ways. Like filmmaking helped me create reels when I had absolutely no experience with it. I know how to edit, I knew how to do voiceovers. It's something that kind of helped me create reels for our brand. Also, like how to market the products. It's just some little skills that came into use. So it was not completely pointless. And of course, the IR course helped me meet my co-founder. So that was that.
And how was your like the entire setup when you started off? How did you happen to get support of your parents or everyone at home?
So it's actually a funny story. So I remember I had gone to Pune in 2023 end to receive the master's degree, and this was our convocation ceremony. So we all met in Pune and we went for the convocation. We got this degree certificate and like, you know, the rank certificate and everything. And we had performed very well. I think I had gotten first rank in my master's degree. And the funny thing, after receiving this, next day, or I guess a couple of days after this, we were in Bombay and we were sitting at this cafe and we had this really bad dessert for like 750 rupees.
At that time, so it was very expensive at that time, and I was like, okay, no. What the hell is this?
Yeah, exactly. So he just randomly said, "Are you still going to pursue IR? Look at this dessert. It is so bad. Why don't you start something of your own?"
So a bad dessert gave you your
Yeah,
idea.
that was, I guess, that was the Philip for us.
Yeah, and then he's like instantly, "You know what? You don't want to do it alone. Let's do it together." A day after this, we didn't talk. The next day, I think this was on 14th December, I remember this. 16th December, he messages me. He's like, "So, what are we doing?" I was like, "Are you serious?" After this, I had to talk to my parents, and I just told my mom, ki, Abhinav na. And she's like, "Yeah, what happened?" "We are starting something together. We are starting like a pastry brand." And she's like, "What do you mean you're starting a pastry brand? Abhi to you took your degree. What happened?" She's like, "No, he just said we had this dessert and it was really bad. And he said, why don't we start a pastry brand?" And strangely, my mom was like, she's an astrologer, by the way. She opened my Kundali and she's like, "Do it." It's kind of funny how it started like that. And then my mom convinced my dad. He was first very confused. After that, he's like, "Who am I to stop you? Even I did the same thing." He had done his engineering and then he started voicing. So he's like, "You know what? I'm nobody to stop you because I did the same thing. So, do what you want." Few days down the line, he took me to one of his friends who's an advertising guru. He suggested I go and do an internship somewhere with another. So my father took me to one of his friends who's an advertising guru, and he suggested I do an internship with another bakery owner, which I did for about 15 days. And I also enrolled myself into pastry school. So that is that first time I actually got an education in
Whatever you want.
patisserie. So I went to school for European pastry, which is here in Mumbai. So I didn't get to go to France and all that dreamy French patisserie experience. I did not get, but it's kind of it's actually a really good thing because I got to use the local ingredients and work with what we have
very
here
true.
and create the best product out of it. And yeah, he was also like always there supporting me every day after every session at pastry school. We used to have a call, and I used to be like, "You know what? I learned this today, and I learned that today." So
One
Yeah, we
addition
made
to the
plans.
menu.
We made plans every day. Okay, how are we going to go about everything and all? So after her pastry, I think pastry school every day, and after my usual routine for UPSC study and all, we used to get on the call, see what we can do, and plan it out, map it out.
yeah, we used to have calls every single day so that we are as motivated as we can be for this and that we don't back
That's
out.
very important when you are doing something and starting off anew. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was not in Bombay at that time. So he was back home doing his thing. I was here preparing. So I was asking him every day, "We are still in, na?" Because मैंने बहुत अभी change कर लिया है अपना. So yeah, that is how it was as for the education part.
So you got a lot of support from your house and your mama and dad.
Yeah, they did not hesitate. I was actually very surprised. They did not because they saw it coming, as I said. They knew that I've always liked it. I used to make beautiful cupcakes. I used to decorate beautiful cupcakes and I used to run this small home based patisserie called Red Orange. It was my mom's brand, but it was people were not really buying much. I was just making it for my friends and relatives, but that is some little bit experience I had, but it was not doing very well. But I used to make cute cupcakes, so it was something I
It was always there with you.
Yeah, it was always there.
So just has to come out.
Yeah, it just had to find a good outlet.
Right. That's right. Okay. So having a girl doing a chef or bakery thing is probably all that okay. What happens to you? Like, how did it go for you, Abhinav?
I was preparing
There
for
is a
you.
lot of societal pressure. That's what I mean.
I guess, yeah, societal pressure is on everyone depending on the circumstances, apart from the gender roles. But yes, I was preparing for UPSC, so every parent in India, I guess, would love their if their children crack UPSC. You know, that's like they'll be the happiest. So I was preparing for UPSC, and but I always had a business acumen in me. I was like, okay, I'm the kind of a person who can't just work under anyone just like that. You know, I want my own creative liberty. I want my own freedom, because I work best when I have my freedom. I can think creatively, and I want to do something creative. You know, trying something new, keep on trying something new, keep on doing something new. So yeah, initially I was doing UPSC, and as I did my last attempt, the planning was almost underway that I had to move to Mumbai. So I talked. My mother knew that I had to move to Mumbai. This is the last attempt, probably the last attempt that I'm giving, and I would want to give this business a try. So I told her. She was like, okay. And as for my father, he knew that I was up to something, but he didn't know what exactly. So after that, I guess, oh yeah, 2 days or one day prior, when I was about to come to Mumbai, I was packing my bag. So, and my father is like, okay, if you're going there for a couple of days, why do you have such a big suitcase over there? So I told him, yeah, I'm moving. Okay, what do you mean you're moving? I'm like, I'm moving to Mumbai. Okay, when are you coming back? I don't know. So yeah, it was a little not difficult, but but he was taken aback. Like he was startled. Ki, okay, I'm really going, and I'm really, starting this business idea. But yeah, eventually he came to terms. Both of my parents are professors. So my nana was also professor. So I come from families of professors. So yes, I'm the odd one out. So yes, after that. Ma was always convinced. She was like, okay, do what you want to do. Even Pa, but he was really taken aback. So yeah, that's how it was for me.
So it
So
all
yeah.
has worked out well.
Yes, yes, yes. I just got a one-way ticket to Mumbai, and here we are.
Taking ahead our conversation, I just wanted to know, how did you go ahead for this particular niche thing? And was there any strategy? I would want Abhinav to answer it if you can.
Uh, yes. So we looked around the market. We did a lot of market research initially, and we were like, okay, there are desserts, but there's a lot of scope for cheesecakes in Mumbai, because there were not of good places, or not many places when we started. We were like very few players in the market. So and Bas cheesecake was comparatively not only to India, but I guess in the world food geography, it was comparatively newer, though it originated in Spain, in the Basque region. But in Mumbai, we didn't hear of it, so we started, like, okay, let's go with it, because that's what I tasted for the first time, and that's what she baked. So yeah, that was the reason, after doing market research, that we decided to go with Basque. And eventually we also added different items, different breads. Initially the breads were there, then tiramisu, other things on the menu as well. But the main concept was Basque.
Okay. All right. And Tanushri, can you tell me about some milestones that you have had till now in your journey?
Like in terms of anything particular, like
In terms of achievements, like you felt, yeah, now I have done this.
so I think the first milestone I felt I have hit is doing something that I'm passionate about. For me, I think in my entire life, the one of the most crucial aspects for me was to do something I am passionate about, because everybody else around me, not everybody, many people around me are just not happy with their jobs. You just see so much dissatisfaction about the work that you do in general in people. People just come home after a long day of work feeling a little bit unfulfilled, because they feel like they've not made that big of an effect on the world in any possible way. It doesn't have to be a big impact, but I wanted to have some kind of impact on the world. And I know maybe making a cheesecake might not bring some huge impact. For some people, it might just mean a lot. Like it just makes someone's day when they have a good cheesecake. And at the same time, every day seems like vacation when you are doing something you like. Like, I read a book called Ikigai, and this was before actually figuring out what I want to do, what I'm going to do in life. So it is about Ikigai is a Japanese word, and it means doing something that you are passionate about in broad terms. I read that book before this, before I decided to do this. And at that point, because I was looking for jobs or internships in the IR field, it made me feel really sad because I saw myself doing something potentially boring in my life. No offense to anybody that is doing IR, but for me, it would have been a boring job. So for me, yes, as I mentioned, the main milestone was to start something of my own and do something that I'm passionate about. Second milestone would definitely be curating a recipe that I have made. So every time I used to be so insecure about not being able to curate a good recipe because it's something that has to be original. If you're starting a brand, the recipes that you make, they should ideally be original and it should be unique to your brand. So it took God knows how many trials to actually create the basque that is now available today. We started with like a base recipe, which was not original. It must have been maybe off the internet or maybe something from my pastry school, but it was not good enough. I was not happy with it. Then after that, I took that recipe, broke it down, completely changed everything, added ingredients that were not supposed to be, and then a completely new recipe came up, and that is what we started with. So it started then with an original recipe, and when we initially started, we were giving out free stuff to everyone, like everyone around us. We started with giving hampers, and in that process of making all those free hampers and giving it to people, I must have worked on that recipe over 100 times. He tasted everything, I tasted everything, and we were like, okay, it's good, but it can be better.
Yeah, we also had feedbacks from people who we gave hampers to, like multiple feedbacks, and we were asking people, please tell us what do you feel about the product, what do you think can be an improvement. You know, our friends who are foodies or your relatives or our mentors, as a matter of fact. So yeah, they all helped us curate, curating the recipe that we have today.
Yeah, so that was definitely one milestone we hit. But actually, I feel I must have hit that milestone. We must have hit that milestone post a trip that I went for uh, in 2025. I went for a trip to the UK, and I went there with a little bit of nervousness because I was about to try some of the best Basque cheesecakes in the UK. There were two brands I tried, both were supposed to be like top tier Basque cheesecake, and when I tasted it, I realized that, you know what, our Basque is better than that.
Yeah, she called me from UK, and I guess it was a little late in the night, and I was like, okay, what happened? I was like, hello, Abhinav. मैं कहा, हाँ, I tasted the Basque in UK. Oh, you did? How was it? हमारा better है यार. So I was like, okay, that's a good news. Not why do you sound so nervous?
Yeah, but I thought, what if it's not good enough? What if they have way better cheesecakes than we make? But no, so ours is better. Like,
Yeah, we say it with all the humbleness, but yeah, I guess like it's fingers crossed.
and I baked at one of my aunt's place there using the ingredients there, and I accidentally made the recipe a little bit wrong. Like, there was something I added wrong, and then actually it tasted even better than before. And then once I came back, I used that same mistake wala recipe. And that was the second milestone I hit. I felt, oh my god, now our Basque is even better than the one before the trip. Yeah, so I guess these are two major milestones I feel I must have hit. Doing something I like and actually curating the best original recipe of Basque cheesecake.
All right. That's interesting. Absolutely interesting. And with respect to Labasque, what was the milestone? Like, which was the first biggest order that you have got?
Biggest orders we got from an ad agency only. Surprisingly, yeah. So they ordered like 30, 40 basques at that time. So that was a big order at that time. So that was our first milestone. And seeing that big of an order, we were nervous. Will we be able to prepare it on time or not? And yeah, obviously. So that was the first milestone.
I need to mention something here. So, this ad agency that gave us our first huge order was the ad agency I worked at for a month and realized I don't want to do advertising. No, but they are really great at their work, and we are actually really glad that they gave us our first big order. Oh, one more thing. So, when we started initially, we didn't have any equipment to actually bake our cheesecakes
Oh yeah.
in that quantity. We had one oven, which is basically under the stove, and in that oven, only one particular level pe you can bake. So, and in that oven, only 2 cheesecakes could be baked at a time, and we had to make 30, and we had to make it within a day, and we only had two cake tins to make it at that point. And we thought ki what if we don't get a bigger order than this for a very long time, what are we going to do with so many tins? So we just made 2 at a time in that oven, and we baked all day long, which was not practical, but we did not know.
How to go about it. So yeah, so basically the home oven was the only oven we had, and the dining table was the place where all the cheesecakes would be assembled and cooled off. So we started from that setup. Home normal home beater that
Yeah.
that is there.
The
an
hand
oven.
beater,
Yeah.
and we broke like 3 of them.
And a dining table, yeah. So that was the first setup that we started with.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really interesting. And what about the innovations that you have come up with? Like apart from one, what the innovation?
Yes. Innovations, we really were big on, okay, we don't want to do normal bask. हमें normal bask करना ही नहीं है. Okay, एक ही flavor का करते हैं, उसके ऊपर कोई भी topping डाल देंगे वो चलेगा. No. We were like, okay, toppings can be an option, but we want to do flavored basks. What would set us apart in the market? We want to do flavored basks, and initially we thought we would introduce much more Indian flavors in Basque. So we had Basundi, we still have Shrikhand Basque over there. But surprisingly, the market for Indian flavors, I think, is not developed yet in, I think, Western desserts, but it's slowly coming up. I think it's big in Western countries for now, and in India it'll pick up, I think, in a couple of years. So we did flavored basque, and I guess we were the only one of the very few in Mumbai who were doing flavored basques actually. So that was our innovation. That is still our innovation. We keep on trying, different flavors. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Yeah. So I think, and apart from that, our innovation apart from the flavors would be that we not an innovation but an ethos of our company, that we don't compromise on the quality of the product ever.
That's great.
Thank you.
And do you remember any mistake that you have done?
Oh, plenty of them.
Anyone in particular?
Anyone in particular? You want to take that or should I go?
I'm trying to think.
Okay.
Till then you take some.
Okay, yeah, so we didn't believe, initially we were very skeptical about ourselves because we don't come from business backgrounds. We don't have an MBA degree. हमें नहीं पता कैसे होता है क्या होता है. We just started it off. We learnt everything along the way. I hated numbers in school. Though I had mathematics in 11th and I deliberately took it in 11th and 12th. I was like, okay, I want to deal with this phobia of mine. I want to deal with mathematics, okay? Despite that, I didn't like it. I just wanted to get it over with, and now back to numbers, finance. So everything we learned along the way, but we really doubted ourselves. कि, okay, will we be able to pull it off? How to go about it? Business कैसे run करते हैं? And so I guess that was initially not a mistake, but थोड़ा सा एक doubt रहता है आपके मन में कि क्या आप कर पाओगे क्या नहीं कर पाओगे. And yeah, I guess बाकी तो
I think, yeah, as he mentioned, we really underestimated ourselves, and we thought maybe asking people might be the best idea to figure some ways out on how to run this business properly. I think we failed to understand that every business is built very differently and depends mainly on how the co-founders build it brick by brick. So we did approach a lot of people from the industry for help and guidance. very few of them helped us. The others must have not wanted us to come up, like, because they are already in the industry, they might not necessarily want to help you. I mean, really, no hate to them. At any point, if somebody approaches us also regarding growing their dessert brand, there's only a limited amount of help we can give or we might want to give. The right people did come when we needed them. We also had we had a very good mentor as well who helped us a lot through everything, and she was my mom's friend, so she helped us a lot. We also have a mentor who still is in touch. He helps us very often. So when we think we are about to make a mistake, we just go to him and just get a few questions out of our way. And what do you think? What other mistakes?
I think we didn't know how to. We were very skeptical of how to deal with customers because when they started talking to us, and we were doubting. I think doubt was one of the biggest mistake that I guess that was there. But initially, वो भी चीज़ we got over with. Initially, we remember. I think one of the very first orders, someone messaged us on okay, hi, I want to order, and we were like,
Why do you
okay,
want to
why would you
order
want
from
to
us?
order? Is this a scam? Are they were thinking we are trying to scam them, we were thinking they were trying to scam us, so it went both ways. So that was initially very
Yeah.
funny stories.
Because, and the reason we felt a mutual, I don't know, scamming situation was because we were a very new brand. So this was maybe 1 month into our business. We only had, I think, I remember when I was in pastry school, I had started this, I had that Red Orange account on which I started posting videos from pastry school. It had like 300 followers. By this time, we had 1,000 followers. So the reason for our skepticism was more like, we don't have followers. We've just put out like a couple of videos. Why do you want to buy from us? We should have been more confident in our brand. That is just that one thing
Yes,
we should
yes.
have done in the beginning. It could have been a lot easier, but
Yeah,
it
you learn.
did get better.
Yeah, you learn from experiences. So yes.
Absolutely. And the data nowadays suggests that around 49 to 74% of people are reducing their sugar intake. How are you developing in that area, or do you have any kind of a hygiene in mind?
Yes, we do. So, my father has diabetes, and my grandparents also had diabetes. Other than diabetes, both of us are really into gymming and fitness and health in general. We don't stop ourselves from eating desserts or junk food, but
From time to time.
yeah, from time to time we do have it, but just because many people even inquired about this, ki, can I get this cheesecake, but can I get it in like a sugar free variant? We did not have this initially, but since we got a lot of queries regarding it, we decided, you know what, why not? Nobody is making a sugar free Basque. That is, I think, we are probably the only brand doing a sugar free Basque.
Yeah, in Mumbai for now, for sure. And apart from sugar free, where I come from Haryana, so there is a sweetener called Khansari. It's derived from sugar cane. It's not chemically processed at all. And I guess in my home, we haven't used white sugar since 7, 8 years. More than 10 years now, we haven't used white sugar. So I was very surprised over it. So I casually brought up the topic, okay, do you know, we can try Khansari as a sweetener, yaar. So she was like, okay, what's a Khansari? I was like, you don't know? Then, okay, I told her, and we sourced from Haryana. We sourced a couple of packets from, when I went home, I brought Khansari. We did some trials, and it turned out to be like even better than the normal sugar, if not almost as good as the sugar. But I personally prefer the sugar ones or the Khansari one, whatever works. But yeah, for the people who were like, okay, we want to eat something healthier as compared to the normal sugar, we were like, okay, we'll do the sugar-free one and the khansari one. So they turned out to be, they're still on the menu. They are matlab people who are into fitness or who don't want to consume as much sugar, they keep on ordering that.
So health is taken care of.
Health is taken.
Yeah. We also tried. We had an idea of jaggery also, na? Using jaggery.
We were thinking of using jaggery as well, but I feel like it has an aftertaste
Very
that
strong
many
aftertaste.
people
Yeah, so
might
many-
not enjoy.
Yeah, so that's why we came up with khansari and monk fruit sweetener.
We did face some issues while actually working out the recipe for this because monk fruit sweetener is very dry. It doesn't have as much moisture in it. So after like a few try, it's also a lot sweeter than normal sugar. So we had to work on that recipe a little bit to make it as similar in taste to our regular Bas cheesecake. But now it's worked. Many people order it very often. It is a little expensive. It is expensive because I think it's also not available in the market, and plus the monk fruit sweetener is also pretty expensive in terms of just the sugar in itself. So we did introduce it, and it is as good as the regular Bas cheesecake, and we're glad we introduced it.
I would like to know the exact tribe that has been behind you. Like, are there only two of you, or is there anyone else who is coming out there and helping you?
Do you want me to take this one? So we started with just the two of us. It's not now. Wait,
Not necessarily.
sorry. Right now, it's not just the two of us. Like we handle everything when it comes to the business, the social media, the queries. Back in the kitchen, we have a helper. She works at our place, so she's helping us with the cheesecakes and the baking. My mom has also taken up a lot of she's taken a lot of load off of me to make the cheesecakes now, so we can focus more on
Other
expanding
aspects, yes.
and the other aspects. We also were looking for people to join our team, but we've not been able to find the right fit. So we're trying to now. We're still looking for people.
Yeah.
And one very interesting question I have for both of you. Were you all mistaken as a couple?
I don't think no one has ever asked us that before. So, no, we are just friends.
Coming up, do you have any new plans for expansion that you would want to announce on The Native?
Oh, yes, definitely. So, we are planning for a cafe that we will be launching this year. So, the work is underway, and hopefully, in this year, like, we come up with a cafe that we have been, working like very, very hard on. So,
Place and all is.
yes. So no, it's not final. It's finalized, but we are just searching for, proper place and how to go about it, the menu curation, and there are little nitty gritties that we have to take care of before we actually go into the hardware mode. So yeah.
Yeah, we've basically just narrowed down on the location. We have to still work on the menu. So there's a lot of concrete aspects that still need to be addressed. But other than that, I think by the second half of the year, hopefully we'll be standing in our cafe.
Yeah, that's why we've started looking for a team. Yes, the menu curation is on the way, and so let's hope for the best.
Yes, I think one of the major challenges we are facing is team building, for sure.
So, moving ahead, can you tell me about the mentors that have been with you, and like what was the step of growth?
Yeah, sure. So initially we were making reels on Instagram, and people were started recognizing us. We were getting orders from Instagram, and then one fine day we just saw a DM from the page called Hungry Backpackers, and they saw one of our reels that at that time I think gained 25k views. So it was very funny. We just made it. We were laughing. We were talking about. We introduced weekend slices on our menu. So they messaged us. They were like, "Oh, this is really good. We would like to, feature you on our page, since you all are since food market, home home-based food market is comparatively new. So we were like, okay, for sure. We were a little skeptical, ki, okay, is this gonna be a paid thing or not? But they were like, no, 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 we just want to feature you, we just want to talk with you. So Hungry Backpackers happened, and the reel gained a lot of traction. We got a lot of followers from that. You know, people started recognizing us after that. It blew up, basically. We got a lot of orders. Then post that, Mumbai Foodie covered us, and we got to be part of Lil Flea. So these were certain milestones that helped us grew and put us on the map of Mumbai. And apart from that, mentors, yes, we've been fortunate enough to get very good mentors who have guided us, through and through. So yes, one of the mentors we were very close to, may God rest her soul, Sharan. So she was her mom's friend, and she actually gave us very brutal but practical advice for the business, how to go about it, how to deal with customers, and you have to be clear how are you gonna, for example, deliver your product. Okay, what are the prices? When people negotiate with you, do you negotiate or do you keep your prices fixed? How do you do that? So that was about it, and we did our first product photo shoot at her place. So she helped us with that, and it was a big moment for us at that time. And apart from that, we have like JD. He is our go-to person now. Absolutely, brutal, but we love him, and he has given us like great advices. So yeah, that, and of course Prahlad Kakkad. So whenever we are like, okay, we are introducing something new, we just bribe him with a cheesecake, and he's like, oh, this is bloody good. Then we are like, okay, this is good to go.
And he always has the craziest ideas. So he is the advertising guru I was talking about. He is amazing. He's brutally honest. He loves our products, and he's also part of the food industry. It's been a very long time. So we know that he's not kidding, or he's not being very sugar coated when it comes to giving us feedback. So we know it's a good product because he's also saying it's a good product. So we trust him. Other than that, he mentioned that we got some features, right? So we got featured by Hungry Backpackers, and we got featured by Mumbai Foodie. So what it did was bring credibility on the table. So whenever there are any new brands that come into the market, if they don't get featured by certain pages, people don't take them seriously. And especially if it's a home based brand, like when you go to see any businesses running from home, in their initial years it takes a very long time to get that recognition and credibility. This kind of, in a way, fast tracked that credibility and recognition for us, and we gained a lot of followers. And sadly, a lot of people trust your brand only if you have followers and only if you have these features. It doesn't really matter whether you have an excellent product or you don't. You might even have an okay-ish product, but if you have a lot of followers, people are going to love you. And it's kind of, you should be very thankful if it's working in your favor. Social media plays a very important role. So that was one of the biggest learnings we've had so far.
Yeah, and that what made us come out on the social media. Like, we have to be present in the reels. That's how we started, getting in the reels, talking about our products ourselves. Because we both were introverts, and we were like, okay, now we have to step up and we have to come in front of the camera and we have to talk about it, because it builds the credibility.
The moment we changed our approach, initially it used to be more product centric. But after a point, we decided, what, we need to put ourselves out there. So the very first reel in which we actually stood in front of the camera with a plate of cheesecake, and we said, what, we're going to sell slices. That's the one that caught their eye. Hungry Backpackers came to us because of that reel. And what they mentioned to us was, oh my God, we love how raw it is and how genuinely y'all are just talking about your product. So we love it. We want to come and feature you. It was that simple. And I think that was one of the milestones, and that's also how social media algorithm acted as a mentor for us, if it makes any sense. Yeah. So yeah, that is also one of the important points.
And from now, 5 years ahead, where do you see Labas?
Well, we would definitely want to expand out of Mumbai and in all the major cities in India. And yes, we would want to take this product abroad. When people say Indian brands are not meant for that world stage, we want to prove them wrong. There are many Indian brands now, entering the Western market or Asian markets all over the world, and we would definitely want Basque to expand in that way.
Okay, that's great. All the best for you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
And can you tell me more about how Labasque, why Labasque name?
Oh, the
What
name,
was the
yes.
name before?
It's actually very simple. So maybe not that simple, but the one of the products that I had made for my friends during masters was this Basque cheesecake. It was also my very first time trying this product. I was also not sure what's going to happen once I cut into it. I just knew it's like a burnt looking cheesecake. Let's try. Why not? I didn't even actually give it to my family. I just baked it and directly took it with me to Pune. And all of them were looking at it. All of us were confused. Then we sliced into it. We were like, chalo, let's see what it is. And we all loved it. We were like, okay, this is something different. And when the time came that we had to choose a name for the business, it was not actually time. We were just maybe few days into discussing ki we are doing this business, right? So what are we going to call it? Both of us were like, let's say it together. What do you think? Both of us said Basque. I must have added the "le" before it because of my French hangover, but yeah, that's how it.
Yeah, so that's how it happened. We were never really, confused about the name. But yeah, we might be confused about the name of the cafe in future maybe. But as for now, the Basque happened in like very naturally, but like what you want to call it, Basque. Simple.
And which is the best selling thing that you have presently?
Best selling thing. Well, we actually made a reel about this, 2 days back. Yeah, so it actually started with the classic vanilla Basque recipe. So that was the first recipe that we started with. So I'll be a little biased towards it. That is my like favorite Basque. Okay, but apart from that, people have been, there are trends in our menu. People definitely love classic vanilla Basque. Chocolate lovers go for dark chocolate. Now, recently we introduced our berry menu, so people are like showing great love to the raspberry chantilly Basque that we newly introduced this time. And whenever the strawberry season comes, the strawberry Basque has to be on people's, go-to list. So yeah, but
You are forgetting. You are forgetting brownie Basque. That Basque also like brought some new revolution. I don't know what made people so crazy about it. So brownie Basque is basically one layer of brownie at the bottom and layer of Basque on top of that. We had actually made it as a fun experiment just like that in our initial days. It didn't work because the brownie at the bottom did not get cooked. So there was a lot of like recipe testing related issues in it. But I anyway put it in one of our videos and it was not on our menu, but people went specifically to that particular section of the video and took a screenshot and asked, "What is this? I want it." And I remember like we had to turn everybody down, telling them that it's not on our menu. But one fine day we launched it for I think Raksha Bandhan.
yes,
And once before
and
that.
to see how the response is, and people were like, onto it. Like I think we were dispatching since morning till late evening that day. There were so many orders. So yeah, that's the experiment and after a while we were like, okay, if people are really enjoying this, why not add it to the
Yeah,
menu?
for months and months, even after we brought it for like just 2 days, it was a limited edition flavor. But post that, for months, people were still like demanding that Basque. So we decided, you know what, let's just listen to them and bring it on the menu. So now people are like getting what.
Yeah, so I guess people have their favorites from the menu.
Yeah, so it really depends on what the clients ask for. So it runs depending on what they want and what they demand. So listening to our customers has been one of the best decisions we've made.
Yes, the best feedbacks.
I'd like to know more about the customers, some weird things, some feedback, some interesting facts about customers.
Okay, so we have we love our customers. We love people who order from us, and we've had like great encounter with them, and some not so good encounter with them. But I'll take on the positive side. We have customers who order from us from a particular for a particular date every month. Like she's been ordering, I think, for past 10 months now, and she was like, I want to order for one complete year on like 10th of every month for my baby. She had a baby, so she was like, I want to do photo shoot of my baby with your basque on every 10th of every month. So whenever it's ninth evening, we message her or she messages us ki, okay, what flavor are we doing this time? So we send her different flavor every month. So that people have also messaged us ki, okay, my sister-in-law or my sister or my my wife, they have like loved your basques, and they have just recovered and they would love to try. So we have sent basques like 3 days in a row, or 4 days in a row, to people who were like, we would love to try your basques. So yeah, these are like very beautiful moments, and we really love them. We really love seeing joy on people's faces when we send them the basque, and we eagerly wait for the feedback, and like it's absolutely amazing.
How far has your bus traveled?
So the thing is, our so we deliver only in Mumbai right now, and probably for a while it's going to be just Mumbai, because a cheesecake is very, very delicate. It's not something you can just deliver very easily. Initially as well, when we had just started like learning, oh yeah, mistakes we made, one more. So since this basque has to be super creamy, if you try to send it, suppose to even Bandra from Dadar, or to like, let's say Borivali or Thane, the cheesecakes were reaching squished, like in the worst possible shape. We had a lot of clients calling us and complaining that, what, you promised me a basque and you gave me like a box of mush. And it's gone like this for people's birthdays, anniversaries, and it was horrible. Then we figured out the safest way to send it, again via customer feedback, is to send them frozen. We started to now store all our basques in the freezer, and that is how we send them. And we send a note or we send a message to everybody as to how they have to handle it. Thankfully, we've not had any delivery mishaps ever since we started sending them frozen, and people are actually completely cool with it. Except there are a few people who assume that we make them like once in a week and then send stale basques.
Yeah, and every time we are like, no, we make our basques fresh every day.
Yeah, we make them every evening, and we set them overnight in the freezer. So it doesn't mean it is stale. A basque cheesecake is not supposed to be eaten the very moment it comes out of the oven. It has to rest for 12 hours. I don't know how to explain this to every person that's going to ask us that I want it from the freshest batch in the evening. That's not possible. I will have to give you batter in a plastic bag, and that's how I'll be able to give it to you. But yeah, that actually helped us to figure out delivery. Now, how does it travel to other states? So many people who have watched our reels are in Bombay, or they could be anywhere around the world, not just India. So most of the people that have ordered outside the city are based in Bangalore. They are based in Delhi, some in Kolkata, some even in Assam. I remember it had gone.
UP, Bihar as well.
Yeah, it's gone everywhere. And how people do this is they tell their friends who are in Bombay, who are traveling to that, the respective city, etc. They'll tell them, you know what, I'm ordering from Le Basque. They will send it to your house. You just bring it with you on flight. So that is how our basque travels from Bombay to
other parts of the cities. Yeah, that's how it started eventually. And then people were like, okay, I'm going for a vacation to suppose Maldives or Amsterdam or somewhere. People were like, I would love to take your basque. So we were also skeptical. Okay, will it go? And then like people were like, they were sending us snaps. Okay, enjoying your basque, in different country. Yeah, so we were like, okay, this actually was. So people also started taking basque to different countries as well. So yeah, it has traveled.
Yeah, but we don't recommend it because that means you've kept the basque out for a very long time. You can't keep it out for that long, but people don't listen to us.
It has worked for people, so who are we to stop?
Yeah, they don't tell us. They just take it,
Yeah,
and then they tell us.
Yeah, so we can say our basque travels more than us.
Yeah, for sure. Without passport.
Taking ahead, are you looking for any collaborations?
Collaborations, I guess we are in talks with a few. There is no concrete, I guess, concrete information about that. So initially we were very skeptical ki, okay, why would someone wanna collaborate with us? Because we're a home-based brand. Because home-based brands don't have a lot of traction in the food industry as of now. You have to have a place. So we were like, okay, then we are talking with some t-shirts brand. Okay, can we get a t-shirt for our brand, or some packaging? Okay, can we get the packaging for our brand? So yes, so we are now looking more into collaborations. So hopefully, let's see how it turns out for us.
We had a few brands in the initial stages, like I think around just after when our Instagram reels had started to just blow up. We had a few brands come in and ask us to kind of send slices to them so they can sell it under their brand. That's called white labeling. Uh, and at that point, we were very unsure, like, is this how we have to go ahead with it? But then at that time, the best thing we did was we spoke to our mentor. We spoke to him, and he just told us in the most brutal way, like, he was very frank about it, very clear. He's like, do not do it. Are you building a manufacturing house, or are you creating a brand? If you're creating a brand, why would you ever ask anyone to white label your product? It's your product. You need to put it under your brand under any circumstance. Do not let anybody white label your product. And I think that is one of the best advices we've ever received.
Yes, and apart from white labeling, we also got some collaboration offers from some cafes and pizzerias around the city ki, okay, we'll keep a separate counter for La Basque in our pizzeria or our cafe. So slices, we can curate slices according to the flavors. So we were interested, but then we were like ki, no, we would like to be exclusive. We would like to keep it exclusive so that people can enjoy. For now, I mean,
I guess exclusivity is also what has helped our brand grow a lot. If you suddenly make it available everywhere, I guess the essence will be lost. Maybe it's not true, but maybe it's just something that we decided to go with.
Okay, yeah. All right, now this brings us to the end, and we have one fun thing. So it's called as Fast and Curious. I would want both of you to answer at the same time. Okay, we go for the next round, that is Fast and Curious. I want both of you to answer at the same time. All right? One word to describe your co-founder in crisis.
Strangely composed.
silent and workaholic.
The most unexpected places where La Basque conversations have taken place.
In a
Gym.
The most common or used emoji that you have on your WhatsApp.
the melting one.
This.
One habit that you have picked up because of La Basque.
Constantly checking the phone.
Constantly speaking in Hindi for some reason. It's probably because of him.
One thing that both of you disagree upon.
Never compromise on quality.
We don't ever disagree much upon stuff.
If La Basque had a personality, what would it be?
If La Basque had a personality, like a person,
Jolly.
fun but chic.
What keeps you going on very hard days?
Cheesecake.
Working out.
Who is the customer that is most favorite?
Kevna.
I wouldn't say most favorite. Like, we are grateful for every customer that comes, to be honest.
And who messes up the most?
Who messes up the most?
He does.
Okay, I want you to finish one sentence. La Basque wouldn't exist without.
Him.
Tanushri.
Okay, that brings us to the end, and I want one question from you, one answer from you. I want you to give one advice to your younger self.
Oh my god, I love this question. I love it. So I think I would tell my younger self, like, don't worry so much. There is no fixed timeline to do everything you have to do. It's all going to work out, even though you think it never will. Because now, when I look back at everything, it all makes complete sense. And nothing's a coincidence. If everything's happening, it's happening for a reason. Nothing can ever be a coincidence.
Okay, nice. And what about you?
Well, I would want to say to my younger self, dream big. Sky is never the limit, it never was, it never will be. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting us, for having us over.